What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Hope you're doing well, feeling great, and enjoying freedom. It's a great day to have a great day. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about silver and gold, but even more about why you need to get a pay raise as quickly as possible. We're going to get into it, but really quick, just in case you're new, make sure to subscribe for daily videos, subscribe to my second channel for weekly videos, get yourself some DYDSS merchandise to help support the channel. Come and join us in the Precious Metals VIP Club for live streams, giveaways, deal alerts, and you can watch Saturday and Sunday's videos right now if you want to, and there are a ton of other perks as well. And of course, last but not least, go and get your 2 free stocks by downloading Webull and funding your account. Everything is linked in the description. So today is Friday, February 11th, 2022. The current spot price of silver, as I'm filming the video, is $23.18. It's neither in the red or in the green at the moment. And the spot price of gold is $1832.70. It's up $6.10, or up 0.33%, just a hair in the green. And of course, the gold to silver ratio is in the 79-to-1 range. But of course, that's as I'm filming the video at like 10 o'clock in the morning, not as I'm editing, posting, or as you're watching. So head on down to the comments and let me know the date and time you're viewing the video and what the current spot price is for you. I'm always curious. Okay, so in today's video, we're going to be talking quite a bit about the silver and the gold. Now, I briefly mentioned in a video a couple of days ago that with inflation at 7%, 7.5% at this point, I'm starting to think maybe I should increase how much silver and gold I'm stacking by 7.5%. But before we can even get into the money, I think we need to first talk about the currency. More specifically, why you need to ask your boss for a pay raise and how to do so strategically. So, if you haven't already heard, or if you somehow haven't bought anything recently, inflation is through the roof. As we made our way out of last year and into this year, we learned that inflation was at 7%, which is insane. But then yesterday, we learned that inflation is now at 7.5%, even worse. Jerome Powell, chair of the Federal Reserve, the man in charge of the printing press, said it himself that inflation is persistent. And the Federal Reserve currently has an emergency action plan in case they need to take drastic measures to get inflation under control. Point being is that this isn't the result of a bad month or a bad 2 months. This has been the overall trend for several months now, and it's likely to continue, which is why it's important that you talk to your boss today about a pay raise. Specifically, a pay raise of at least 7 to 7.5%. For those of you that didn't know, on top of my regular job, I also work a part-time job, just to get a little bit extra fiat. It helps out. I got a pay raise at my main job. I got that without even asking. But as for the part-time job, I got in contact with the manager last month about this. I did it through text, that way it was documented. I asked him how 2021 treated the business. After a brutal 2020, I was just curious how successful of a bounce back we made in 2021. I work for the company. I care about whether or not we're back on track and if we're thriving. And I also wanted to get an idea if we could even afford a pay raise before I went about asking. He got back to me and let me know that 2021 was an incredibly good year. He's unsure if we're going to be raising prices on the customers, but it's a possibility, and I would say there's a strong likelihood of that taking place. So a few days after that, I sent him another text, and I asked him if he happens to know if we're getting pay raises this year. His initial response was no, he didn't believe we were getting pay raises. I then let him know that inflation is getting really bad. Rent, food, gassing up the car, it's all getting more expensive, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep driving all the way over without a pay raise. I don't know if that makes sense financially. I also informed him that minimum wage went up, which means that a lot of people working their first jobs ever technically got a pay raise, and that I've been working at this job since before the current owner bought the business. I've never missed work. I've always shown up early. I've always stayed late if necessary. And of the entire staff, this guy right here has the highest productivity, which means I get more done in an hour than anyone else in the building. I then made an offer. I don't mean to sound ridiculous, by the way, but I know my worth, which is why I asked for more than that. I know that whatever I ask for will inevitably be negotiated down, so I set the bar higher than I needed to. I even crunched the numbers for him. I let him know exactly how much more it would cost the business per month. Again, this is a part-time job. I'm not there 40 hours a week. A pay raise would barely cost them anything. I also threw in there that I love the job and I would like to stay. But I am getting other offers, and quite literally everybody is hiring right now, and most of them are starting people out with more than I'm currently making just to get applicants. Again, I'd prefer to stay, but I need to make the best financial decision for myself. So please let me know if a pay raise is possible ASAP. Thank you. That was the text that I sent. Now, as for you watching the video right now, you don't have to go about asking for a pay raise the exact way I went about it. I'm just sharing my story to give you an idea. But either way, you need to understand that with inflation being up this high, if you didn't get a pay raise this year, you got a pay cut this year. And even if inflation does come down, which by the way, I'm optimistic for that taking place, even if inflation does come down, do you think companies will lower their prices after raising them, especially the massive corporations that have already taken over the planet? And by the way, as for me, as for this guy, the manager said that he would talk to the owner and he would let me know. This took place 2 weeks ago on Monday. I sent a reminder this past Monday, and in a few days it'll be Monday again, and I still haven't gotten an answer just yet. But to be honest with you, as much as I like the job, and as nice as it is getting that extra side currency, I believe that I win either way. If I get a raise, great, I get a raise. But if I don't, I would have no choice but to leave, and at that point I would have two options. Number one would be to take one of the other 500 offers that there are and make a little bit more money at a new side job, or two, devote that time to really going into go mode and lasering in on building my brand, creating more content for YouTube and the Precious Metals VIP Club. I've already been able to enhance the quality of my videos and film a bunch of VIP vlogs the last 2 weeks. So we'll see how things go. But again, I personally feel as though I'll come out on top either way. But in conclusion, ask for a pay raise. If your housing, food, bills, gasoline, general cost of living is becoming more and more expensive month after month, that's something you need to talk to your boss about. If everything in the world except your paycheck went up this year, that's a problem, at least in my book. Especially if you are a consistent, reliable worker, because guess what? The workers, people like us, the average Joes, the employees, the staff, the faculty, whatever you want to call us, we have so much leverage right now because quite literally everyone is hiring. Not only are they hiring, but they're offering more currency just for the sake of getting applicants. In order to retain current employees, especially the employees like myself, and I'm assuming probably you, the reliable, hardworking people, the consistent people who don't take off unless absolutely necessary, they don't want to let you go. They don't want to fire you, first and foremost, and they're not going to, and they definitely don't want you to quit. Businesses and companies right now do not have the time or the money or the resources to hire new people, especially when nobody's applying for jobs, let alone hiring new people and spending time and currency taking care of that, only for the new employee to potentially end up being a flake. Someone that sticks around for a couple of weeks and then stops showing up or quits or finds a different job. They want to keep you. You have leverage right now. But moving away from all of that, hopefully I encouraged someone who didn't get a pay raise to ask for a pay raise, and hopefully that results in a pay raise. But moving away from the pay raise situation, I wanted to quickly talk about the silver and the gold, because a couple of days ago, while filming a video, I don't remember which video it was maybe 2-3 days back, I don't remember exactly, but I had mentioned, and this was before yesterday's video, before we found out that inflation is now at 7.5%, back when we thought inflation was 7%. I had briefly mentioned in a video that I'm starting to think that with inflation at 7%, I should probably increase how much silver I'm stacking by about 7%. Could probably bump that number up to 7.5% at this point, just for it to make sense. But I'm genuinely starting to think that that's probably not a half bad stacking strategy. If you're stacking the silver, if you're stacking the gold, consider, if you need to, cut back on some other expenses so that you can increase how much you're stacking by maybe 7.5%. Now, you don't have to do that if you don't want to. Go about it in whatever way makes the most sense to you. I was just thinking out loud in that video, but once I actually said it, I thought about it even more, and I was like, you know what? I said that as, kind of a joke, but it actually makes sense. So for those of you, all you got to do is some simple math. I don't know how much silver you're stacking on a month-to-month basis. Let's just say it's 10 troy ounces of silver. Let's say every month you go and get yourself a 10-ounce silver bar, or maybe 10 silver eagles, or 10 1-ounce rounds, or whatever the case may be. 10 troy ounces of silver. If you were to bump that up by 7.5%, that would look like 10.75 troy ounces of silver. Now, many of us don't really like fractional silver, but since we all love silver, I don't think any of us would really have an issue rounding that up to 11. So if you normally get 10 troy ounces of silver, with 7.5% inflation, might not be a half bad idea to bump that 10 troy ounces of silver up to 11 troy ounces of silver. We're seeing inflation across the board. Maybe we should consider inflating the stack a little bit, or inflating the acquisition, or inflating how much silver we're getting, how much gold we're getting, however you want to look at it. Again, I'm just thinking out loud over here, and initially I said it as somewhat of a joke, but the more I think about it, the more it makes sense. So maybe with these dollar bills, especially if I'm able to get a pay raise, it'll be pretty much the same for me. If I were to increase how much silver I'm getting by 7.5%. If I can get a raise of 7.5%, what's the difference? Makes no difference to me. Everything becomes 7.5% more expensive. Meanwhile, my paycheck becomes 7.5% more. Again, I'm just throwing random numbers out there. Well, not random numbers, but I'm just throwing numbers out there. I'm thinking out loud. It's something that makes sense to me. It's something that I think each and every one of you should consider. Now, if you don't want to increase how much silver you're getting or how much gold you're getting, that's perfectly fine. I personally don't care. But I personally do care about the pay raise situation. So once again, ask your boss for a pay raise if you haven't gotten one this year. Because remember, if you didn't get a pay raise this year, you got a pay cut this year. And if you got a pay raise of, let's just say 5%, you need to understand that that's a 2.5% pay cut, because that doesn't match inflation. Inflation is through the roof. It's something that you need to talk to your boss about. You have leverage right now. Incredible amounts of leverage. Please use it. But I want you guys to head on down to the comments and let me know anything and everything related to today's video topic. When it comes to the pay raise, let me know, did you get a pay raise this year? Did you not get a pay raise this year? Did this video inspire you to request a pay raise or potentially start looking around for other offers, other employers that are willing to pay you a little bit more? Head on down to the comments and let me know your thoughts on that right there, as well as what do you think of my potential new stacking strategy? Increasing how much silver I'm stacking by about 7.5%. Head on down to the comments and let me know. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new. Subscribe to my second channel for weekly videos. Get yourself some DYDSS merchandise to help support the channel in the biggest possible way. We got t-shirts, hoodies, stickers, coffee mugs in a bunch of different designs. DYDSS store will be linked in the description. Come and join us in the Precious Metals VIP Club, which is where I do giveaways every single month, live streams multiple times a week, deal alerts every single day. You can watch all of my videos early and commercial free. You can watch Saturday and Sunday's videos right now if you want to. And tomorrow morning, I'll be posting a brand new adventure vlog. And there are a ton of other perks as well. VIP Club link in the description. And of course, last but not least, make sure you go and download Webull and fund your account. They're going to give you 2 free random stocks just for doing so. Webull link in the description. And I want you guys to head on down to the comments and let me know once again, what are your thoughts on everything shared in today's video? When it comes to potentially my new stacking strategy, everything else is going up. Why not increase how much silver I'm getting just by 7.5%, just to match inflation? Is that something that you're doing? Is that something that you think is a good idea? And then, of course, when it comes to a pay raise, did your job give you a pay raise this year? If so, you don't have to tell me by how much, but if not, did this video inspire you to request a pay raise? Hopefully, my way of going about it maybe gave you some ideas. I wouldn't recommend going about it exactly how I went about it, but maybe you can take some bits and pieces from it and get yourself a raise. Head on down to the comments and let me know anything and everything related to today's video topic. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you tomorrow. Don't you dare stop smiling. Peace.